Hey, hey, what's up, kid?
How are you doing? Looking fantastic. You're almost looking sun-kissed, but it looks cold up there, man.
It's cold and snowy, and
Uh,
it's not where you are, pal. It's not where you
that's
are.
brutal. So, introduce yourself and your company, what you do for that company.
Yeah, sure. So Matt Woolley, work for FinLocker. I'm the senior vice president, head of sales and revenue for the company, and just finishing up month 4 here at FinLocker.
Uh,
So
right.
still,
So, before we get to business, let's talk about our how we know each other. Penn State, former athletes. Talk about that a little bit.
yeah. I tell you what, I was the benefactor at Penn State of being the younger brother of one of the most social people on the planet in Penn State
Shout
history.
out to Matt.
Andy,
Yeah.
Andy was legendary up there from the social side of things. It was, so Andy was 3 years older than me. He played soccer and did a little dabbling into the football world one semester, and you guys met him in West Halls in Hamilton.
Yeah, he lived on my floor.
Yeah, so I would come up. I guess it was his sophomore year when he and Teddy lived together in Hamilton. So I would come up as a junior in high school, to do my on-site research of schools that I might want to
To
look
figure out
into.
if it was
So
the right place to play.
yeah, figure it was where I wanted to be, and got a chance to meet you and Bruce and Hovass and Ed, and that crew. Kind of like when I finally got there in '89 with all of my soccer crew in West Halls, and meeting the other athletes in West, right? So the volleyball players, the gymnasts, basketball players. I mean, we all, the wrestlers. How can you forget those guys, right?
Yeah,
Still
one
some of my
team. One team.
yeah, it was. It was. So, but to this day, I've been able to continue with a lot of the friendships that I've built there and the network. And my best friends in the world are former Penn State athletes that I either played with or, was up there with on the one team at Penn State. So, yeah, I tell you what, it's Penn State, and Penn State soccer has literally been I would think a big piece of where I am today, right? A lot of the jobs and things of that I've gotten over the years, being a Penn State former athlete, helped push things through a little bit. I wasn't always the brightest guy in the room, but you know,
Well, it makes you competitive,
exactly.
outgoing, right?
They knew I was competitive, driven, outgoing, able to to work hard, play hard, do what I need to do. So from a sales management side of things, where I've been in the last 20 plus years. Not gonna, I already said 89 of, for my freshman year, but yeah, it's been it's the best choice I ever made. I always think about, if I go back and had the choice all over again, I would do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, as
Right.
much of
So
a grind as it is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing, it is. And just listen to your Hovass interview last night. After I got back from Nashville, and probably not the best from a hangover medication standpoint to listen to you two go, because I fell asleep about 28 minutes into it. But we went through a lot of the similar things at Penn State as athletes, right? You dealing with new coaches, dealing with new teammates. You're coming into an environment where everyone is really good, right? So
Right.
you're no longer that big fish in a little pond. You're just a fish in a big pond trying to get a nibble at the food. So it's but it makes us stronger. It's certainly, helped me build a lot of where I am today. And, some of, who I am is based on what I did and who I met and how I did things at PSU.
Right. So tell me about your worker. You've always been kind of mortgage adjacent to me.
I have been. So I've been in sort of the mortgage technology space now since about 2000, 2001. Prior to that, I was with a real estate technology firm that got acquired by Realtor.com, Home Store. You might know those guys.
Yeah.
And even before that, I was actually a loan officer for a little bit, for a couple of years here, just outside of Philadelphia. So I've been in the mortgage tech space, and it's just kind of growing up in that space over the last 20 years has been kind of cool. I knew it. What helped that side of things was being in the LO space for a little while, understanding, what it is to, take an application, to go through processing, underwriting, getting decisions. As an LO, all of us think every loan's a good loan, right? So, but truly understanding, what takes place behind the scenes. So I would spend time with the processors and underwriters to learn more about what was happening. I think that helped me as I got into the mortgage technology space. Starting out, it was fraud detection back in the day, in the 2000s, and 2001 through 2010, and then into other stuff, loan quality management, QC. Now I'm with FinLocker, and I've always been very kind of blessed in a way that the companies that I worked for, we had great products that were saying the right thing at the right time based upon the market and the trend and what's happening, right? So I think that's part of the battle. And where we are now with FinLocker is, with the market the way it is right now, refis have been fantastic the last couple of years. They've dried up. We've got a purchase market now. Rates are ticking up a little bit. Fed said they're going to raise it 3 times this year, possibly. So we are. FinLocker is an application. We are a B to B to C. So our customers are lenders, mortgage bankers, brokers, we then create a white label app for them, right, in the App Store and Google Play. So FinLocker is a lead conversion mechanism to help them work with first-time home buyers, underserved borrowers, turned down borrowers, anyone that really needs to get into what we call financial fitness, right, or mortgage readiness, so to speak, right? So we are sort of an all-in-one app that allows our customers to engage the customer a little bit better, right, and make sure that you guys spend a lot of time tracking down leads, generating leads, keeping people in. So you want to make sure that if someone doesn't qualify right now or they're not ready right now, that they don't go away someplace else and never come back to you, right? So how can we help you keep, those leads, those prospects, those people that you've worked hard to bring into the boat? How do you keep them in there and not let them go to,
one of the other fintechs, like the Quickens or the lending
the Quickens, but so what I hear the most times is a lot of when leads get turned down, a lot of times it's just credit, right? Their credit score is not where it needs to be. So a lot of LOs will say to their prospect, hey, you know what, your credit score is a little bit low. Why don't you go to like a Credit Karma or go to a Credit Sesame and do what you have to do to get your credit up. Then come back to me when you got your credit above a 640, right? Well, guess what? As soon as they go to one of those sites, they're gone, right? They're gone because those big fish are paying a lot of money to get those leads from those other fintechs, right? So the way I look at it is you worked hard to get them there. You paid money to get some of those leads into the boat, right? So if they didn't qualify, why not? Let's give them a locker and help them get to where they need to be, right? So within the tool, we've got budgeting, we've got educational tools, we've got the ability to have them on a consumer permission basis, load in their credit, pump in their social security number. They can load in all of their personal financial information and, link their bank accounts, link their, the 401ks, their rent, their whatever else they need to link. They can bring it in there and see where they are in the process. And it helps guide them along as to what they need to know. So, we've talked about this before, BA, first-time home buyers, not a lot of them know what's happening, in the mortgage world, or how it happens, or what's a DTI. They don't know that all the time, or how much do I really need to get for a down payment, right? So, and how far away am I? What do I really need a credit score to be? And, so we've got simulators in there, allows them to see, okay, well, if you close off this credit card or pay down this balance a certain amount, what does that do to your score? Does it get you closer to where you need to be financially fit and mortgage ready to get into, your home and your mortgage?
Right. So a first-time home buyer comes to me. I would have the app. I do have the app, actually. And if they're either not sure they're ready to make the move yet, it allows them to set the map, or me help them set the map to be ready to buy a home. Or if they're credit challenged, it helps them in that way too, right?
Yeah, and even if they're looking for a house, right? We have a partnership with Home Scout built within the app that allows them to do searches for real estate, right? So they might not know where they want to live or how much they can afford. You can actually give them the locker, and it's your own branded locker, right? So it has nothing to do with FinLocker. They don't see anything about FinLocker in there. They see Collab Mortgage. I think that's what you guys are called now, right?
Yep. We just changed. Look at you on top of things.
I keep track of those things. But they see, your own branded Collab Mortgage app that you've provided them to go and help them get to where they need to be. So if they're searching for a home, they can do it right within the app. Where they're searching, it kind of, they link their financial information. They can see what they can afford, right? So, you're doing your job as an advisor, as a trusted advisor, to help them get where they need to be, not, qualify for loan, but let's not get mortgage poor, right? Let's make sure we're not going to stretch beyond our means. Teach them what is DTI, right? Where do those balances need to be to get them approved? And, So it allows you to provide them a tool, sort of like a digital mortgage assistant to get them ready, right? So for us at FinLocker, we've got really our customer is you, the lender, right? But in the end, it's really the consumer too. So we've got to think about, as we're building out more of this application and increasing, the technology, making it better, how do we continue to add the value for our lender customers, but really what do we need to do to make it pop and be the right thing for the consumers, right? Make it easy to use, sort of the gamification of the app, right? So, if they link 3 accounts, they get a $5, gift card to Starbucks, right? Or something we can work on with a lender, so make it, give them challenges to meet to help them stay engaged within the application, right? Don't give them that chance to go someplace else.
Like doing it like a trophy that would be, yeah, that makes those. Yeah. And as they're working through that, is the technology like letting me know like they may be doing something inside the locker?
Great question. So yeah, there's a dashboard, an admin dashboard that you'd have access to. Again, because it's personal identifiable information, there's a lot of things that you can't see, right? And we do that to protect the consumer. So you won't see exactly what their credit score is, but you can see the range where they are, right? So you'll be able to see what the engagement is, how often are they in it, what are they doing, how many accounts have they linked up, right? You're not going to be able to see their balances on their credit account or their savings or their 401k, but what they've linked up and where they're going towards within this. So the dashboard is, that's continuing to evolve and get better on our side. And, we're trying to give you as much information, as much data as possible about your prospects that you've got, actively engaged in lockers without giving you specifics, that are, the PII for the consumer, so to speak, right?
Yeah. So like when they get to a point where they're ready for me, they're ready to do the full application. What is the action of that? Do I get like a notification? Do they notify me? How does that work?
There's actually a couple of things, right? So a couple of things you can do within the locker, right? You as the lender can do the verification of assets directly in the locker, right? You can do via, verification of income, verification of employment in the locker. It's real simple, right? We've got all this data in there because they linked up all their, financial accounts. It's really the press of a button to apply directly with you, right? So then, and behind the scenes during the integration part, BAs will set up those API integrations that's going to now take that data, any documents they uploaded or saved to the locker. Maybe they save their tax returns or their W-2s or pay stubs may have been saved in there. Although we can get the payroll information and verify that within the locker as well, so you don't need the pay stubs. But once they're able to, they can click a button and it's going to take all that data and all the docs and put it over into your point of sale that you use or your LOS, whatever we've integrated it into. And it's going to automatically fill out as much as 90% of your 1003 or your mortgage application, right? So we're trying to make, again, thinking long-term about how do we make this easier for the consumer, right? So the more data that we can pull automatically from their verified account, that's going to pop into and plug into your 1003 to give you a more accurate, more complete 1003.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are surprised, the first-time home buyers, at how much paperwork is involved and information is involved in the transaction. So the more you can get up front, because I like to get as much as I can. You can't really read the mind of an underwriter, but there's general things that you're going to need. So I try to get them up front and just prepare them. There may be other things, but get us this, and if we don't need it, that's fine. Better to have than not need it. So you would integrate with the loan origination software or our CRM, just using API.
Your CRM or your point of sale, right? So we've got integrations with a lot of those different technologies now. We're working on other integrations based upon our customers who want to have integrations, right, with specific POS systems or CRMs or LOS systems. So again, the more automation, the more technology we can use to make the process simpler, for your consumer, but also for you as a lender. The more time you save, the less manual input that gets put into it, so the less errors that occur, right? You're speeding up the process a lot quicker.
Right. And what about maybe someone who actually already owns their home? How would I integrate it with that type of borrower?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of different use cases, right? So the one is really keeping that customer for life. right? So yeah, they already have their home, or maybe just they applied for a mortgage through you, right? So now let them continue to stay in the locker, because who knows, maybe they're going to, maybe you might offer other products down the road that you could cross sell it. Maybe it's home equity loan, maybe it's you venture into something else that
Or
allows
debt
them
consolidation. Like I'm doing a ton of debt consolidation loans
yeah
right now.
yeah. So if you have those folks in the lockers are continuing to use it and it's uploading, once they link their accounts, we're just continuously uploading in the background, right? So
Got it.
we've got the partnerships with all the data aggregation that's going to pull it in. So the credit, we wonderful partnership with TransUnion, right? So we're getting all the TU credit data in there, and then we can link up with all the different bank accounts and investment accounts and things of that nature. So yeah, we look at, we're talking to, we've got a couple servicing clients right now that's looking at it from, hey, how do I make sure that I keep, when someone wants to refi, right? I want them to do it with me, right? I want them to stay within there. So if they're in lockers, you're now going to know, or it's going to be able to, give alerts or automation around, hey, these guys are ripe for refi right now. They're at a 3.5%. You could get them in a 2.25 right now in a 30-year and save them X, right? And they can very quickly and easily apply right through that button to get it in there, right? So you look at, we're thinking, not just first-time home buyers. I think for me, the biggest, the easiest thing to do is the first-time home buyer, right? When you think about the educational standpoint that we provide within
which I'm big on, yeah, very important.
The budgeting, right? We've got credit counseling agencies that love working with the FinLocker because they see all the educational tools in there, and it helps them guide their customers on how to get their credit to where it needs to be. So that's always the easiest one. But we've got more. That the servicing piece is a big piece for us. There's a CRA component for banks, low to moderate income areas that people are looking to continue to get into, and the locker is the perfect tool for them to use in those areas. Again, because you're lending now, or you're looking in areas where you're going to have people who maybe don't have any credit, right? Or don't know what their credit needs to be, or how it works, or how the mortgage process works. So it's a great tool to expand those that side of things. Get your, we're looking as, how do you go up the funnel, right? You've got your loans that are coming in, your borrowers that are coming in. If you get 100 leads, 5% of those are going to go, boom, they're going to get applications, right? So you get them into your LOS, you get them moving, they're off and running. But that other 50, 60, 70, 80%, right, that maybe need a little tweaking, need a little bit of help. How do you ensure that they stay in? So we're looking to fill that funnel up here for you as the loan officer, to continuously give you more and more loans coming through the funnel, over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, whatever it might be, to get them ready.
Yeah. So you're providing stickiness is what you're doing.
That's it. Yeah. Right. In your own branded version of the app, right? That we'll continue to publish and monitor and upgrade. And, you get those little silly updates in your iPhone, right? That you got to do, like, whatever, you get the little red dot above your app that says, hey, time to update.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So if I have like my database right now, could I take my database in like a Excel or something, or CSV, and just upload it into my FinLocker account? Or is that
not into your FinLocker? But what you could do is you could create invites for your database, right? So if you've got name, cell phone, email address, you could create invites for them, right? So that now you'll be able to see within your dashboard, if you sent out 500 invites, you'll be able to see right away how many accepted that, how many downloaded the app, how many then have linked their credit, right? So we see probably close to 80% of the lockers that are out there right now, people link their credit to it, right? It's easy and simple to do. And then another, 50 to 60% link bank accounts to it. And then, the more that they can get involved, the more they can link their accounts, right? So I have my own locker. I love it, right? I love to keep an eye on where's my credit, where is my, I've got my Northwestern Mutual 401k stuff linked into it. I got my PNC bank accounts linked into it. I've got, all that sort of stuff. So it allows them to truly monitor where they are. You can see where they are in terms of that mortgage readiness, so to speak, when they're ready to get going. And again, it's a tool to help you stay engaged, be that trusted advisor that you are. And, again, work when you have times like this where the rates tick up and it is a purchase market. It allows you to do a little more prospecting and stay involved, and again, continue to build that funnel so that you continuously get that, those loans coming through the door.
That's what's appealing to me, is just being able to to add value to my existing clients too.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So
yeah, totally.
So that you've actually given me something to put on my to-do list, because I'm always looking for reasons to reach out and just see how they're doing, that kind of thing. So if someone, whether it's a customer or a potential buyer or a lender, banker, broker wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
Dial 911. No, I'm just kidding. They could reach out. They could go to our website at FinLocker. They could, download some information off there if they wanted to. They can request for a demo or request more information. They could reach out to me at, it's matt.woolley@finlocker.com. 2 O's, 2 L's, EY, like the mammoth.
Yes.
That's easy to do, right? So, but it's, and again,
the site is really user-friendly.
The site's great. I mean, and the thing too with the app, we spent a lot of time. We relaunched the app is right before I got here in October. They did it probably end of July, early August. They totally redid the application, which is really kind of cool. So that's where we're spending a lot of development dollars right now. Is how do we make the UI more engaging? How do we make the digital consumer experience better, right, for the customer and providing you more data? So I think I just told you I was in Nashville this last week. Monday through last night at the Mortgage Bankers Association's conference for independent mortgage bankers, right? So one, it's Nashville, always a good time.
No doubt.
Didn't stink. But two, I'll tell you, it was nice to see. It was the first conference of the year. Attendance was fantastic. A lot of good people there. But we had a session on Wednesday morning in front of the whole group right at the very beginning of the day. And our message resonated because a lot of people came up and said, hey, we're really looking into this digital mortgage experience. How do we make the consumer experience better, right? How do we keep customers, right? Because you see, Rocket Mortgage or Quicken just bought Truebill, right? I mean, you saw that a few weeks ago. So Truebill is like FinLocker is like Truebill, but for the mortgage industry, right? So Quicken bought Truebill for $1.2 billion, right? So that took Truebill off the market because that's all going to Quicken now, right? So we have a lot of people saying, how do we compete with that? How do we compete with those Quickens of the world that have the Truebill? And, how do we not let our customers go to Credit Karma, Mint, all those other ones that are out there?
Yeah. That's it's funny you say that because I that's kind of been like my big thing is we'll never have the dollars of a Quicken and Rocket. How do we create a unique experience and level the playing field? And collab lending, because they're we're small and agile, so that gives us an advantage. And then if we have the technology, we can compete with those big ones, especially since rates are a big thing too.
Yeah, no, that's the whole idea, right? So rates are up, purchase, the market's going to be a little bit less than what it was last couple of years from the volume standpoint. So how do you ensure that you're keeping your piece of the pie, right? And how are you advancing it? How are you, there are, I think, I forget what the actual number is. It's like 5 million millennials turning 30 each year over the next 4 years, which is sort of that prime first-time home buyer time, right? So how do you work with them, right? These are kids that grew up on our phones and technology and doing things quickly. So how do we work with them? How do we market to them? And how do we help them, how do we help educate them in a way that they're used to, right? From a technology standpoint. So I think that's what we're trying to accomplish here. And, we've got a lot of good testimonials already, but it's exciting for us because I like it because it's adding value to our customers, the lenders, but even more so what it's doing for the consumer base, right? And not just the first-time home buyers. I'm looking at, the underserved areas, the low to moderate income areas, the ones that, not want to say get left in the dark, but have a harder time understanding what's happening because people haven't taken the time to work with them and educate them on things, right? So this really helps us get out to that community as well. And we're working with some larger organizations to really help expand that message into those communities too. So there's some cool things happening, but I feel great about it because we do add the value, right? It's not an expensive technology, but it certainly adds value to both our lending customers as well as the consumers that they work with. So it's kind of fun.
Well, I appreciate the time, man. I do love the value add that I'm going to be able to like shoot out to my current clients and add to my future clients because the financial literacy is such a big thing, you know.
It is. It is. It's as we talk about as being financially fit, right? So there's mortgage readiness, but in the long haul, it's how do I keep myself budgeted, financially fit, doing what I need to do to advance my home ownership journey down the road. So it's resonating quite well in the industry right now too.
Okay, so one more time, the website.
www.finlocker, FINLOCKER.com. FinLocker.
All right, man. Take care and stay warm. Oh, I love it. I love it.